From the British invasion to the Summer of Love, from Motown to folk protest songs, the decade gave us sounds that didn't just entertain. They transformed how we understood music itself. Today, we're taking you on a journey through 10 songs from the 1960s that changed the history of music forever. Number 10. Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
Once upon a time, you dressed so fine, through the bumps of dime in your prime.
When Bob Dylan walked into Columbia Studios in June 1965, he carried with him a 6-page handwritten manuscript that would become one of the most important songs in popular music history. Like a Rolling Stone wasn't just a song, it was a declaration of independence.
Like a rolling stone.
At over 6 minutes long, the track defied every convention of radio play. AM radio stations were built around 3-minute songs, but Dylan's epic narrative demanded space to breathe. The song's length forced radio programmers to reconsider what constituted a hit single, paving the way for longer, more complex compositions.
A complete unknown.
The recording session itself was revolutionary. Dylan had assembled a crack team of session musicians, including Mike Bloomfield on guitar and Al Kooper on organ. Kooper, who had never played organ professionally, bluffed his way onto the session and created that distinctive swirling sound that became the song's signature. The loose, almost chaotic energy of the recording captured something raw and immediate that studio polish couldn't achieve. Dylan's decision to go electric had already caused controversy in folk circles, but, like a Rolling Stone, made it undeniable. The song bridged the gap between folk authenticity and rock power, creating a template that countless artists would follow. The lyrics, with their stream of consciousness imagery and cutting social commentary, elevated pop songwriting to literary heights.
Ain't it hard when you discover that?
The song's success, it reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, proved that audiences were hungry for music that challenged them intellectually and emotionally. It opened the door for other artists to experiment with length, complexity, and lyrical depth in ways that hadn't been commercially viable before.
Nobody's ever taught you how to live out on the street, and now you're gonna.
Number 9. Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. Brian Wilson spent 6 months and $50,000 creating Good Vibrations, a sum that could have funded an entire album in 1966. The result was a sonic masterpiece that redefined what was possible in the recording studio. Wilson approached the song like a composer writing a symphony, recording different sections at different studios with different musicians. He used a modular approach, creating musical sections that could be rearranged and combined. This method, which he called pocket symphonies, was revolutionary for pop music. The song's instrumentation was equally groundbreaking. Wilson incorporated a theremin, an electronic instrument played without physical contact, alongside traditional rock instruments. The theremin's ethereal, otherworldly sound had never been used in mainstream pop music before. He also used cello, flute, and jaw harp, creating a sonic palette that was both familiar and completely new.
Softly smile, I know she must be kind.
The recording process itself became part of the song's legend. Wilson would spend hours perfecting tiny details, like the exact reverb on a single word, or the precise timing of a hand clap. This obsessive attention to detail created a depth and richness that revealed new layers with each listen.
She's somehow closer.
Good Vibrations spent 2 weeks at number 1, proving that audiences were ready for sophisticated studio artistry. The song's success encouraged other artists to view the recording studio as an instrument in itself, leading to the elaborate productions that would define the late 1960s and beyond. Number 8. I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles.
I think you'll understand
When I Want to Hold Your Hand hit American airwaves in January 1964, it didn't just top the charts, It ignited a cultural phenomenon that would reshape the entire music industry. The song was the Beatles' first #1 hit in America, and it arrived at a moment when the country desperately needed something to lift its spirits.
I wanna hold your hand.
President Kennedy had been assassinated just 2 months earlier, and America was still in mourning. The Beatles' infectious optimism and energy provided a welcome escape from the national grief. Their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, watched by 73 million people, created a shared cultural moment that united the country in a way that few musical events have before or since.
I wanna hold your hand. I wanna...
The song itself showcased the tight harmonies and melodic sensibilities that would become the Beatles' trademark. John Lennon and Paul McCartney's voices blended seamlessly, creating a sound that was both distinctly British and universally appealing. The arrangement was deceptively simple: guitar, bass, drums, and voices. But the interplay between the instruments created a richness that belied its simplicity.
And when I touch you, I feel happy.
The Beatles' success opened American doors for countless British acts. The British invasion that followed brought the Rolling Stones, The Who, The Kinks, and dozens of other bands to American shores. Record labels began scouring Britain for the next Beatles, fundamentally changing how the international music business operated.
Now let me hold your hand. I wanna hold.
More importantly, the Beatles proved that rock and roll could be both commercially successful and artistically ambitious. Their success gave legitimacy to rock music as an art form, encouraging other artists to push creative boundaries while maintaining popular appeal.
It's such a feeling that my love.
Number 7. My Girl by The Temptations.
I guess you say
Motown Records had a simple but revolutionary philosophy: create music that would appeal to both black and white audiences. My Girl by The Temptations was one of the label's greatest successes in achieving this goal, helping to break down racial barriers in popular music. The song, written by Smokey Robinson and Ronald White, featured a bass line that would become one of the most recognizable in popular music. James Jamerson's bass work didn't just anchor the song, it drove it forward with a walking pattern that was both sophisticated and irresistibly catchy. The bass line was so distinctive that it became a template for countless soul and R&B songs that followed. The Temptations' vocal arrangement was equally masterful. David Ruffin's lead vocal was supported by 4-part harmonies that created a rich, full sound. The group's choreography, developed by Charlie Atkins, added a visual element that made their performances as compelling to watch as they were to hear. My Girl reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it one of the first Motown songs to achieve mainstream crossover success. The song's appeal transcended racial lines at a time when the civil rights movement was fighting for equality. Music became a bridge between communities, with songs like My Girl proving that great music could unite people regardless of their background. The success of My Girl and other Motown hits helped establish a new model for black-owned businesses in the music industry. Berry Gordy's Motown became a cultural force that gave African-American artists unprecedented control over their careers and their art. Number 6. California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. The folk rock movement of the mid-60s found its perfect expression in California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. The song captured the restless spirit of a generation looking for something new, something different from the conformity of the 1950s. The song's arrangement was deceptively complex. John Phillips's guitar work provided a foundation, but it was the intricate vocal harmonies that made the song special. The 4 voices, John and Michelle Phillips, Denny Doherty, and Cass Elliot, created patterns that were both sophisticated and accessible. Cass Elliott's powerful voice provided the anchor, while the other 3 voices danced around her in complex harmonies. The song's production incorporated elements that were unusual for folk music. The flute solo, played by Bud Shank, gave the song a jazz influence that set it apart from other folk rock songs of the time. The use of studio effects, including reverb and echo, created an atmosphere that matched the song's dreamy, wistful mood. California Dreamin' became an anthem for the counterculture movement. Young people across the country identified with the song's themes of escape and transformation. California became a symbol of freedom and possibility, and the song helped fuel the migration of young people to the West Coast. The song's success helped establish folk rock as a legitimate genre, bridging the gap between the authenticity of folk music and the energy of rock and roll. Artists like the Byrds, Simon and Garfunkel, and Joni Mitchell would build on this foundation, creating some of the most enduring music of the decade. Number 5. A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke.
I was born by the river.
Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come was more than a song. It was a statement of hope and determination in the face of overwhelming adversity. Inspired by Bob Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind, Cooke set out to write a song that would speak to the African American experience during the Civil Rights era.
Change gonna come.
The song's orchestral arrangement, created by RCA staff arranger Renee Hall, was unlike anything in Cooke's previous work. The lush strings and timpani created a sense of grandeur that elevated the song beyond typical R&B fare. The arrangement built slowly, matching the song's narrative arc from despair to hope.
It's been too hard living.
Cooke's vocal performance was perhaps the finest of his career. His voice carried the weight of personal experience. He had been denied service at a whites-only hotel, an incident that directly inspired the song. The pain in his voice was real, but so was the hope. He sang with a conviction that came from lived experience, not just artistic imagination.
I go to the movie.
The song's release was tragically overshadowed by Cooke's death in December 1964, just months after the song was recorded. His death robbed the world of one of its greatest voices, but A Change Is Gonna Come became his lasting legacy, a song that continues to inspire social justice movements today. The song's influence extended far beyond its initial release. It became an anthem for the civil rights movement, providing hope and encouragement to those fighting for equality. The song's message of perseverance and faith in the face of adversity resonated with anyone who had ever faced discrimination or hardship.
Then I go to my brother.
Number 4. The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel.
Left its seeds while I was sleeping.
Paul Simon wrote The Sound of Silence when he was just 21 years old. But the song's themes of alienation and communication breakdown spoke to universal human experiences. The song's journey from folk ballad to rock anthem illustrates how music can evolve and find new audiences in unexpected ways.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The song was originally recorded in 1964 as a simple acoustic piece for Simon and Garfunkel's debut album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. The album was a commercial failure, and the duo temporarily disbanded. Art Garfunkel returned to college, and Paul Simon moved to London to pursue a solo career.
Neath the halo of a street lamp.
Producer Tom Wilson, who had worked with Bob Dylan, saw potential in the song and made a decision that would change music history. Without the duo's knowledge, he overdubbed electric guitar, bass, and drums to the original acoustic recording. The result was a hybrid that maintained the song's introspective quality while adding the power of rock instrumentation.
By the flash of a neon light.
The electrified version was released as a single in 1965 and became a massive hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The success brought Simon and Garfunkel back together and launched them to superstardom. The song's success proved that folk music could be successfully adapted to rock arrangements, inspiring countless artists to experiment with genre blending.
I turn my collar to the cold and damp.
The song's lyrics, with their imagery of urban isolation and failed communication, captured the mood of a generation coming of age in an increasingly complex world. The song became an anthem for those who felt disconnected from society, providing a voice for the alienation many young people felt in the rapidly changing 1960s.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Number 3. Respect by Aretha Franklin. When Aretha Franklin took Otis Redding's Respect and made it her own, she didn't just create a hit song. She created a feminist anthem that would resonate for generations. Franklin's version transformed a song about a man demanding respect from his woman into a powerful statement about women demanding respect in all aspects of life. The arrangement was crucial to the song's impact. The horn section, arranged by King Curtis and producer Jerry Wexler, provided a bold, brassy foundation that matched Franklin's powerful vocals. The backup singers, including Franklin's sisters Irma and Carolyn, added layers of harmony that reinforced the song's message of strength and solidarity. Franklin's piano work anchored the song, demonstrating her skills as both a vocalist and an instrumentalist. Her gospel-influenced playing style brought a spiritual dimension to the song that connected with audiences on a deeper level. The song's bridge, where Franklin spelled out R-E-S-P-E-C-T, became one of the most memorable moments in popular music. The song's timing was perfect. Released in 1967, at the height of both the civil rights movement and the emerging women's liberation movement, Respect became an anthem for anyone fighting for their rights. Franklin's powerful voice gave authority to the song's message, making it impossible to ignore. The song's success established Franklin as the Queen of Soul and proved that female artists could command the same respect as their male counterparts. The song's influence extended beyond music, becoming a rallying cry for social change and personal empowerment. Number 2. Yesterday by the Beatles. Paul McCartney woke up one morning in 1965 with a complete melody in his head. He rushed to the piano and played it through, convinced he must have unconsciously plagiarized it from another song. After checking with friends and colleagues, he realized the melody was entirely his own creation. That melody became Yesterday, one of the most covered songs in popular music history.
Something wrong now, I long for yes.
The song's recording was revolutionary for the Beatles. For the first time, only one member of the band performed on the recording, Paul McCartney singing and playing acoustic guitar. Producer George Martin added a string quartet arrangement that complemented McCartney's melody perfectly. The use of classical instruments in a pop song was unusual, but not unprecedented. What made Yesterday special was how naturally the strings fit with McCartney's vocal and guitar.
I'm not half the man I used to be.
The song's structure was deceptively simple, but perfectly crafted. The melody moved in unexpected directions, creating emotional peaks and valleys that supported the lyrics' themes of loss and regret. The song's universal theme of longing for the past resonated with listeners of all ages and backgrounds. Yesterday was initially released as the B-side to Act Naturally in the United States, but radio stations quickly flipped it over. The song's success proved that the Beatles could succeed with intimate, personal songs, as well as their more energetic rock numbers. This versatility would become one of their defining characteristics.
Love was such an easy game to play.
The song's influence on popular music was enormous. It demonstrated that pop songs could be sophisticated both melodically and lyrically, while remaining accessible to mainstream audiences. Countless artists have drawn inspiration from Yesterday's approach to songwriting, and its impact can be heard in everything from indie rock to contemporary pop.
I need a place to hide away.
Number 1. Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
With a mystery tramp, but now you realize.
We return to where we started, But this time to explore why Like a Rolling Stone sits at the top of our list. This song didn't just change music, it changed what music could be.
You say you never compromise.
The song's narrative structure was unlike anything in popular music. Dylan created a character study that unfolded over 6 minutes, telling the story of someone who had fallen from privilege to destitution. The song's protagonist was addressed directly. How does it feel? Making listeners feel like they were witnessing a real confrontation.
How does it feel?
The recording captured a moment of pure inspiration. Al Cooper's organ part, played on an instrument he barely knew how to use, created a swirling, almost hypnotic backdrop for Dylan's vocals. Mike Bloomfield's guitar work provided sharp, stinging accents that punctuated Dylan's narrative. The rhythm section, including drummer Bobby Gregg and bassist Joseph Macho Jr., created a driving pulse that propelled the song forward.
Compromise with a mystery tramp, but now you...
Dylan's vocal performance was equally revolutionary. He sang with a nasal, almost conversational tone that was unlike the smooth crooning that dominated popular music. His approach influenced countless singers who realized that emotional authenticity was more important than technical perfection.
No direction, oh.
The song's success, it reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, proved that audiences were ready for music that challenged them intellectually and emotionally. Radio stations that had never played songs longer than 3 minutes made exceptions for Like a Rolling Stone. The song's success opened the door for other artists to experiment with length, complexity, and lyrical depth.
Exchanging all precious gifts, but you better take...
These 10 songs from the 1960s did more than entertain. They transformed the very DNA of popular music. From Bob Dylan's literary rock to the Beatles' melodic innovations, from Motown's crossover success to Aretha Franklin's empowering anthems, these tracks created the foundation for everything that followed. The 1960s were a decade of unprecedented change, and these songs provided the soundtrack for a generation that was reimagining what was possible. They broke down barriers between genres, between races, between the personal and the political. They proved that popular music could be both commercially successful and artistically ambitious. As we listen to these songs today, we can still feel their power. They remind us of a time when music had the ability to unite people, to inspire change, and to create moments of shared cultural experience. In our fragmented world, these songs serve as a reminder of music's unique ability to bring people together and to express the inexpressible. The legacy of these songs lives on in every artist who dares to push boundaries, in every songwriter who values authenticity over commercial appeal, and in every listener who believes that music can change the world. The 1960s may be over, but the revolution these songs started continues today. If you enjoyed this journey through the sounds that shaped a generation, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the music that changed everything. What's your favorite song from the 1960s? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.